What up, you guys? I am tired. It's been a busy weekend. Let's see. Passover, I can't even talk. Passover was yesterday, and I did a full Seder, and it goes for hours. It's an hours long thing, and you begin the evening by, there's 4 glasses of wine that you have to, chug, leaning to the left. And this is before you've even eaten a meal. The Passover ritual food is not filling food. It's just these nibbles of things. And most of them are not even real food. One of the things that you eat, that you start by dipping parsley into salt water, which represents the tears of Israel. And then I think after that you get to eat a small piece of matzah, or maybe you just break the matzah, and then you go on to something else and you chug the wine, and then you circle back, and then you eat the bitter herbs, which is basically you have to turn bitterness into sweetness. And so what you do is you get a big mouthful of horseradish. In the Kabbalah Center, that we do it on a piece of romaine lettuce. So you put a big scoop of horseradish in romaine lettuce, and you chew it, and you don't swallow it until the pain stops, and your saliva dissolves and deactivates the fiery stinginess. So it's it's experiencing the bitterness and suffering of slavery. And then I was tipsy by then, because I think that's after the second glass of wine. So I had the reflex of just swallowing. So then I had to pile it up again and really chew it for longer. And then there's a lamb shank bone on the plate, but you don't eat the lamb during the ritual portion of the food. And then you eat an egg, and throughout the meal, there's different parts of the matzah you eat. You have 3 pieces of matzah that are covered, and sometimes you uncover the matzah, and sometimes you cover the matzah. It's reveal the matzah. It's ooh, I'm revealing my matzah. And then you take the middle cracker, and you break it, and I don't know. There's different times where you eat a piece, and you do different things with it. So at one point you raise up the Seder plate. And then there is, I feel that's all the food that you eat. Oh yeah, and then there's apples with walnuts, wine, and honey. And they represent, it's a thing that you cook, cooked apples. And those represent the mortar of the bricks. And so at one point you get to eat some of the apples, but only because you're making a little sandwich with your matzah and the horseradish and the apple jelly. So the ritual food is never delicious food. But then afterwards, I had gotten lamb chops and lamb steaks. Or maybe it wasn't lamb chops, whatever the T-bone thing is. The little T-bone things that are this big. They're not the ones on the lollipops, but maybe that is the lamb chops. So I had, I roasted lamb chops, and then I found these lamb steaks that kind of looked like a ribeye or maybe a T-bone. So I had 2 of those, and I slow roasted them in my Dutch oven on low, and they turned out really tender. And I put basically a whole one of those small minced garlic jars with onion and potatoes and carrots. And so that was my traditional roast kind of dish that went with the meal afterwards. But then after you eat, so you pause after the 3rd glass of wine, and then you eat the meal, your meal, and then you have to go back and finish the ritual. And it takes hours and hours and hours. And it is but also before that, you're doing all the Torah readings and the singing and the up and down and jumping and all of that. And so it's exhausting. And my Haggadah did come in time. Isn't this neat? So the Kabbalah Center has their own publication of the Haggadah, so that you get the Kabbalistic version of Passover, and it's still the traditional Seder. It's just that the Kabbalists go really deep. They're activating the soul. I was watching on the Chosen app, they have a lot of extra special features, and the writers got together with one of their Messianic Jewish people who they consult the writers to like let them know like what's going on, like they're experts. And I mean, like I was listening to them talk, and they're like, it's like they've never put these things together before. Like, oh my God, wow, that's what that means. I'm like, don't you write this show? Like, you do a good job. It just goes to show that like artists really do channel from their soul. And you don't have to intellectually understand something to channel deep truths. And I noticed that too over the years, because I like to do collage art, and I haven't done it in a while because it just takes a lot to like get all the clippings and stuff out and like really go through the pieces and like lay it out everywhere. But my collage work is like, it's always really profound, and I never get tired of looking at the pieces that I've hung up, because there's so much symbolism that is revealed over time. And it's so interesting how cohesive each piece tells a story, that when I made these, like in my like 20s, early in college, like I was always deeper than my friends and more profound in that way. But like, I did not know the deep Kabbalistic concepts that I know now, and they are riddled throughout these art pieces. And it just goes to show that your soul expresses through the art. So I think that's really interesting. So this Haggadah basically gives you the whole Seder ritual and the meaning of everything, and like where the plate goes and all of that. But yeah, like the writers of the show, is like, I know they were kind of hamming it up for the sake of the camera, but like I was like, y'all not like putting any of this together when you're like reading the Old Testament and like reading the New Testament? Any of it correlates? I don't know. So either way, The Chosen is one of my favorite shows. But they were doing, talking about the Seder meal and everything, and their understanding and wasn't even as deep. So I love the Kabbalah Center because they are serious and they go deep, deep, deep. But they're also not like super orthodox or kosher either. So it's all about the spiritual technology, about like awakening that light. And so as we open ourselves as a vessel to receive this light of miracles and light of the Creator over the 8 days of Passover, we are like channeling all this light down and kind of storing it in our soul, and our soul is being enhanced and uplifted. Well, what happens is after Passover, the next 40-day period is called the Omer. And the 40 days, as you can imagine, correspond with the 40 years in the wilderness. And this is like over this 40 days, and you guys might remember this if you've followed along this channel, because we are always like on top of the Omer every year. It is 40 days of kind of challenging times that help us earn the light that we've downloaded, and kind of like help us overcome some of our like personality flaws that we were trying to leave behind in Egypt. And so this is like 40 days that can be challenging, but at the same time, if we can rise above these triggers, then like we really reveal these miracles that we downloaded during the holidays rituals. Second show and tell piece I have is that, do you guys remember last week, it was like a little bit over a week or so ago, that I didn't listen to my intuition and I wore my grandmother's pin. It was like the Holy Spirit pin, and it fell off at work, and I was all upset and everybody's looking for it. And I was like, you know what? I gotta let it go. The angels will bring it back to me. They always bring me back my precious things that I lose. And I just have to let it go and be at peace. And if it's meant to come back, it will. And I was remember thinking it was really ironic, because the Holy Spirit, I wanted this pin to represent the Holy Spirit hovering over the cross, because it was a reference to Genesis when the Spirit was there hovering over the waters. Well, we also have learned on this channel that the Holy Spirit can't be with you. The Shekhinah, the Spirit of God, can't be with you if you're angry, if you're depressed, if you're in despair. Like, it needs to connect with joy because of affinity of form. The Holy Spirit is that joyous provider, protector energy, almost like the feminine spirit of God. And so it can't be in the same place as darkness and despair and anger and grief. So the Holy Spirit kind of your presence leaves you if you're in a crusty mood. Well, I was in a crusty mood and my Holy Spirit fell off, and I was like, damn it, I knew I shouldn't have worn it to work. And then I went and got in a crusty mood, and I evil tongued and said some shit, and then I realized it had fallen off in the night. Well, I was up in the mezzanine. I was like restocking some things that like didn't necessarily have to be restocked, but like I just went ahead and did it even though I was tired. And I looked over, and this is crazy because the pin was sitting on one of the boxes of glassware. It was just sitting there looking up at me like, and I about shit myself because even just a couple of days ago, I was up there like tearing the place inside and out, like stacking all the boxes and getting the thing organized and like throwing out like old boxes that were empty and stuff. And I was all pissed because like nobody else does it but me. My coworkers are like Gen Zers and young millennials who don't have like physical intelligence about like handling physical objects. Like they were kids that were raised in digital world. So like it's weird how like young kids, like they don't know how to like read a box label and just like stack the boxes with the other boxes. Like they're so unorganized. It's weird. Like they don't understand how to like stack dishes with the same shape. The basic physical intelligence that we like as 80s kids and like the elder millennials, like we learned that by playing with blocks and like wooden toys when we were little, but they were given iPads. So it's like it's things like that are simple are like lost on them. So I get like so enraged when I'm up there because I feel like a tired single mother with no kids. I'm just exhausted. And I had like torn that place inside and out, and there was Granny's pin. The Holy Spirit returned to me. It's Noah's dove with the olive sprig, promising that dry land was near and that the deluge was almost over. And it came along with God's promise that he would never destroy the earth by a flood again. And isn't that fun? Because we have been learning about how the past several videos, we've learned about the different times that God had to reset humanity in different ways on different levels. So yeah, that was pretty wild. Okay, so we are here for our weekly energy oracle forecast. Thank you for hearing me out with my show and tell and my stories. And one last thing, you guys. One of the things that I did before Passover, like I had to like prepare, and like deep clean the house and all of that. Well, I was able to get in an errand that just came upon me. I was like, you know what? I feel like I should do this. You know how we have all the crazy tariffs right now, and you know how like we've just put like 125% tariff on China, and China came back with like their enormous, even bigger tariff. When we run out of the electronics that we have right now in stock, they're going to be so expensive. And so I decided to just go ahead and upgrade my phone, even though I didn't really need the upgrade. I'm one of those people that keeps their phone forever, but I was like, it would be wise to have this because my current phone is in good shape. I can have that as a backup or as an extra or as a valuable if I need to sell it, and get the new phone. Because, with the way things are going with the Donald Duck, who knows how long we're going to be dealing with this stuff and how extreme it's going to get. So I went ahead and bought a new phone, even though I wasn't planning on it. And I haven't also bought a new laptop in like 15 years, and I kind of need one. So I just figured I'd just go ahead and get one of those too and finance it before they're like super expensive. So that might be something to consider if you kind of need something like that, like anyway right now. It'd be a good idea to get them while supplies are still like the normal price. Okay, last bit of not reading info. All right, so we did have our full moon in Libra last night, which it was so bright, and I even could see like the aura of that moon was pink, and it was called the pink moon, which I think is really neat. I did not do our lunation video because Passover was so intense, and then the preparation was so intense, and it was so long. And then this morning I forgot that there's also like a morning connection, so I was basically still ritualing all the way up until I had to get ready to go to work. So I guess we're just not going to have our full moon workshop this time around. So we'll pick back up on our regularly scheduled donation workshops next new moon. Because I also have to do taxes this week and go buy a computer. So it's just been anxiety. Oh, great. Can't wait for this week. So yeah, we're just gonna keep on keeping on and take it as we can. All right. So this week's energy, we might feel a bit of anxiety. We might get a little bit of those bats in our thoughts, right? Like, watch your thoughts, watch your fear, watch your anxiety and your nervousness. Try not to let it get out of control. I find that if I am overwhelmed, to just start to take like guided action one step at a time. Like being in a state of freeze, like when we are in a trauma response, it actually adds to the overwhelm. But if we can dig ourselves out of that by like first regulating, getting calm, getting quiet, and then identifying the first next logical step that you can take. Do that, get that step done, and then you'll start to feel less overwhelmed. Right? When you engage and you take action, it helps relieve that anxiety. So do what you can. Try not to take action though from a place of fear, because when we act in a reactive state, that is in the seed level of our action. And so it kind of puts a seed of chaos in whatever we're doing. So just try to get calm and get guidance from spirit, and then take the action you're guided to take. Like for me, for instance, when I decided, why don't I just go and get another phone? That actually felt like a very calm, rational decision to make. And then going to do it, I was like, oh, I don't want to do this. Like, it's not the money that I was planning on spending right now. But overall, it gave me a sense of peace to go do that and have it taken care of. Same with the computer. I wasn't like thinking, oh, I want to go out and like finance a computer right now. That'll be great. Or have a bigger phone bill. But the thing is that I know that that's one of those things. I like to call them rich people choices, rich people decisions, where if you have the money and you can make that right choice for yourself and you're like, it's a drop in the bucket. It doesn't make a big deal. It doesn't make a difference. That's what rich people think like, and that's why they get better deals. That's why they save money. That's why the rich get richer, because they can just do that no-brainer thing. Whereas for poor people or middle class people, we like can't always make that rich people choice. And so that's what ends up fucking us over in the end. And that's why we can't, we end up having that like unexpected expense that bites us in the ass. Like for instance, getting Apple Care and just paying the whole cost of it up front instead of monthly. If you pay the whole year up front, it's cheaper. And if you get Apple Care, it's so much better than getting the insurance through your cell phone provider, because that insurance, whatever, if you've ever had them replace your phone for anything, you get a shitty phone. Like it's weird. They send you like one that's like, it never acts right. It's never right after that. So it's always better, just get the Apple Care, right? That kind of rich people choice. Like gap insurance. If you ever buy a car and when you're going through like your financing and all that, get gap insurance, because what that means is that if you total your car before it's paid off, then the gap insurance covers the difference, and you're not upside down having to pay for a car that you don't have anymore. So stuff like that. So making those kinds of choices from a calm place, like when you feel like, oh, okay, this does make me feel a little bit calmer, a little bit safer. Like when you can make those decisions, it's nice if you can. Now, when you go out and make panicked choices from a place of reactiveness and fear, like I said, then it's like seeded with this like chaos, and it ends up like snowballing into more chaos and more chaos. So you might feel a little bit of anxiety this week, and I think that will be alleviated if you continue to return back to your prayer practice. If you guys look at my my channel page, you can find the Psalms playlist, the Secrets of the Psalms playlist. there are different psalms that you can use for different things, that you can pray for different purposes. One of them that I have been praying and have had such success with is Psalm 72, which is protection from poverty. And every time I listen to my own video of me saying the psalm, or when I pray the psalm from the page before work, the covers go up crazy. So like when my manager sent out our cut text today, they'll send out a group text to the whole crew and see if there's anybody that wants to take a cut. And if nobody wants to take a cut, and there's like several people that have to be cut, then they'll spin this like digital wheel, and then it'll just land on somebody's name, and then they get cut. And so she sent out the cut text. Nobody wanted to take a cut, so we spun the wheel, and there was, I think, maybe 60 or so reservations when she first sent out the text, and then it moved up to about 80. And then I watched the video that I have, and I watched it on Instagram, so it's on Instagram too. I watched my Instagram video of me praying the Psalm 72. I listened to it 7 times in a row while I was getting ready. And then from the time I was getting ready till the time I got to work and we had our shift meeting, our reservations had grown by 50. And then, 55, because we had one more party of 5 booked while we were in our meeting. So it's crazy. And so then, not only that, I made a high tip percentage tonight too. Whereas some people, like, even though they get the benefit of the extra reservations coming in, they still sometimes are getting those 10% tippers. So I keep telling everybody, like, you guys, pray Psalm 72. Pray Psalm 72. Every time I pray it, before I come to work, we get like 50 covers out of nowhere. Sometimes we grow by even more. Like one time last week, I think we grew by like 60 or 70 in the matter of like an hour or two. So it's crazy. It's like miraculous. And they're like, great, Liz, keep praying them. And I'm like, you guys need to pray with me. It's where 2 or more are gathered. Like, don't just leave all this on me. I get so frustrated because it's like, I'm doing all this, I'm giving people the tools, and they're like, great, can you keep doing this for us? And I'm like, it's so tiring having to carry all of you, and you could be doing it with me, and we could have even more craziness go on. And it's really frustrating because then then like an hour later, they'll be like, Liz, tell us what to do this or that. I'm like, I do tell you, you don't do it. So figure it out for yourself, honestly. So yes, watch the videos, because you listening to me and even like you praying along with me in the video, that counts as 2 or more gathered, because that video is timeless. The energy is in it. And so even when I'm listening to my own video from the past, I have, extra business coming at work. It's crazy. All right, so the Psalms, pray the Psalms, have a good prayer practice, unload your heart to the Creator. I like to have a prayer practice in the morning and in the evening, and then like throughout the day. Oh my God, anger. It's not hard these days. You like watch any kind of headline on the news, any story, and it's like you're filled with anger and anxiety. That guy that they sent by mistake, they extradited him to El Salvador, and all the judges 9-0 voted to bring him back. The Department of Justice is like, no, nobody can make us do it. We're not going to. If he can figure out a way to get out of El Salvador or back into the country, then fine. But like, whatever. Like, that's how they're handling that. I saw a video of Donald Trump talking to the Italian president, and he said that Italy and the U.S. had been allies for thousands of years. In case no one knows why that's hysterical, the United States was only formed as a nation in 1775. So we haven't even been a country for more than 200 and something years. So that's who's in charge of the country. Someone who thinks that we have been a sovereign nation for thousands of years, since the time of the Pharaoh. You know what? He's probably the Pharaoh reincarnated, and and it's just like him thinking like, oh yeah, I forgot. It's not Rome. This is the United States. Okay, infected. It's gonna be a real fun week. Yeah, welcome to the Omer. Oh, and Yasad. Okay, so in the upper realms, before the physical earth was here, there was a time between the unmanifest and the physical manifest. And so in the Garden of Eden, when Adam and Eve were first created, they were light beings. The Garden of Eden itself was in this limbo realm of light. And it was in a state of perfection and immortality, and there was no sickness, there was no misery, there was no questioning or doubt. It was just everything was harmonious and unified, and we had total unity with God at that point. After the fall of Adam, we were confused and ashamed, and that initiated and introduced pain, death, suffering into the world. And so the Garden of Eden was this beautiful paradise where it was basically in a dream state in the astral realm that's associated with this chakra. And then after that sin of Adam, and the ego drew the veil between our 100% awakened awareness of our divinity and our humanity. After that was when the physical world was revealed as the multiverse, as the physical sensual world where we can see, hear, taste, smell, touch. And then that's when we had to feel pain during childbirth and labor to break wheat and make bread for our food and till the ground and all of that. But before, everything was just immortal and perfect, and it was nirvana. So here we are, correcting for that generation after generation later, and every one of the holy holidays sources and originates back with the Garden of Eden. In the next association of all the high holy holidays, they all relate back to the Exodus from Egypt. So we just left Egypt, or we're on the run now, in accordance with the timeline. Oh, I painted the lamb's blood over my door. And so this is what we're dealing with. The Omer is showing us it's gonna activate our anger and our anxiety and our fear, our lack, our doubt, our anger, and our hostility, probably sadness as well. And that is being shown to us because it's in the seed level of our consciousness through which everything we create. Do you see this egg? What is an egg, right? It's new life. It's basically like a seed that's planted that we want to hatch. We want it to be something fruitful and full of life, right? But this is tainted. This egg is infected by lies, by the snake in the garden, right? The snake that introduced the questions that ended up leading to the discussion that ended in taking of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, which brought about pain and suffering in the world. So too does the anger that we have and the anxiety perpetuate that pain and suffering. It gets in the seed level of our consciousness, and then from there it just gets filtered into everything that we do and everything that we put our hands to. So the Omer is a time that might reveal to us our hidden anger and our hidden anxiety. And maybe it's not so hidden, right? But if we can transcend these things, that's where we reach the realm of miracles, right? This is a time where we can access miracles, but we have to go above the logic, above what makes sense. We have to believe like a little child that God in his goodness is going to send us that pillar of smoke to guide us by day and that pillar of fire to guide us by night, that we will have the manna on the ground that we need when we need it, that we will have the medicine for the sickness when we need it. Everything that we need will be given to us in perfect time. I can't tell you like how many times I have manna moments. Whether I find wild mushrooms that are amazing. I rarely have to buy a lot of groceries because I just come in possession of food all the time. And then also the food that I do have and buy, it lasts like a weirdly amount of time. Like almost like my food doesn't go bad. Like most people would just assume it was bad and throw it out. But I'm one of those people that's like, nah, I'll fuck around and find out. And I'm telling you, it's like my food rarely spoils. Because I believe in miracles. And it's not hard for me to make that stretch of believing that God does miracles in our life. Look, like I expected that to come back to me in a moment that I least expected it. And there it was. And I had to let go. I had to figure, okay, well, somebody could have picked it up. It could have been smashed under my car tire. Like it's probably gone. Like this little tiny little thing. It's probably gone. But I knew I would get it back. I knew that's how the angels, they play with me, they mess with me, but that's how they teach me and remind me of things. I experience miracles all the time. So my dad has had a kidney stone that left him with an infection in his kidneys. And he tends to go, like my dad has a tendency to get sepsis. Like throughout the years, he's gotten it multiple times. And every time he goes to the hospital for something where he's like got a weird fever and it's not right, I'm always like, have him check him for sepsis. Like he's got sepsis. Nobody ever listens to me. And that's always what ends up happening. I diagnose him and then nobody listens. They all blow me off. And then the doctors finally figure it out. And it's the thing that I said all along. So he's got this infection, or he's been battling with it. And I am convinced that he keeps going into these toxic levels because he's like full on MAGA. And he listens to Fox News day and night. And he's around toxic people and in a toxic environment. And so the toxicity builds up and it physically manifests and is trying to tell him, you are in a toxic environment. You are toxic. You are buying into these toxic things that are making you toxic. And I was just telling someone this at work moments before I found this. And this is his mother's pen, Granny's pen. And so to me, this was Granny going, yeah, you're right. Like when he finally figures this out and makes the connection, like that's when this thing is going to go away. Because for weeks now, he's been in like the best hospital and they've been getting the best care. And it's like they can't seem to solve this problem or figure it out. And so my sister took samples of, I think, blood and urine and stuff. She's going to take it to her own lab and like run it or whatever. But he has like an abscess on his kidney. And my dad is going to be the first to tell you when something is off in your life, well, it's because of your sin. It's because you're wayward. It's because of this and that. And like he's the first one to jump down your throat and tell you that you're basically not being blessed because of something, off. But like anytime something's happening to them, he's under the attack of the enemy. And so to me, it's like, hello, but this is what I'm talking about, this infection, this infectedness that gets in. It starts in our consciousness and it bleeds into our thoughts and it bleeds into our feelings and our emotions. And if we don't take care of it when we can see it and okay, I see my hostility, I see my anger, I see my rage, I see my anxiety, then it festers. And it either becomes chaos in our life that we have to deal with, and that's the easy way that God's trying to deal with us and show us like, hey, this isn't a punishment, but we're trying to let you know like this is festering inside of you. And if you can't identify it, then the volume keeps getting turned up. And so you keep having this like snowballing chaos. in your life until it festers into physical ailments and illness. And the lesson is to pay attention to these things. In the Kabbalah Center in Kabbalah 1, they teach you how to say, how to go through this process of pause. What a pleasure. Why is this in my movie? So whatever is happening around you and whatever feels like it's happening to you, it's happening for you. And instead of getting reactive and taking like a reactive action that's only going to snowball and compound the damage, you need to pause. Don't take an action, but say, why is this in my movie? What is God trying to show me? What is being revealed to me in this moment? How can I use this to empower me to heal this part of myself, or to transcend this part of myself, or to correct this part of my life? And the answer is not always super obvious. Sometimes, it takes a minute to like let go and try to connect with the answer that the Spirit's trying to reveal to you. Sometimes we're trying to force things to happen through sheer willpower. And when we really just need to like not give up, but like let go and let God do God's thing. It's funny too, because today I was so tired and I wanted to take that cut, but I didn't feel like it would be fiscally the right thing to do or fiscally responsible. So when it came time for the wheel, I was like, God, I'm in your hands. Do what you will with me. Like whatever you want, I'll do it. I'll go to work. I'll stay home. Whatever is in your plan. All these other people got cut. I was like, I guess I'm going to work. And that's when I found Granny's pin. And I made a good tip percentage tonight. I didn't make like, a crazy good night or anything, but it was good. It was fine. It was good. Average plus average, but it was better than some of the other nights I'd had this week. So that was good. But just be aware this week of when the anger and the anxiety gets triggered. It's not a punishment. It's just the heavens trying to help you so that you can see where the infection is, so that you're aware of that, so you can put the salve on that. You can pray for God to help you with that issue. And there is this prayer called the prayer of the poor. It's called the prayer of Betsul. And if I can screenshot, I have a photo of it that's in my photo folder that I use as a prayer practice every night. So I'll try to include that in like the video for you guys. It's from the Kabbalah Center, so all the credit goes to them. It's one of the slides from one of the classes I take, but I don't think they'll mind if I share it. And I'm giving them credit, and I'm always trying to get you guys to sign up for classes through the Kabbalah Center. They're life-changing. It's really, really great. And you can always, there's so much material available on their website that you don't have to be a member to access. But you can start by just like setting yourself up an account with your email and like exploring some of the articles and some of the free videos that they have. You might be able to watch the daily Zohar videos, which are the daily Torah portion that corresponds with the day. But I pay the $49.99 a month because then I get access to like all the other classes. So a lot of them are free. And if there's like special courses, I get a discount. But all of the holy holidays are live streamed for free. You just have to have an account set up with your email. So sign up at the Kabbalah Center. Big plug for the Kabbalah Center. And $49.99 a month is less than like the tithe you would pay going to church every week anyway. So I think it's totally fair. It's totally good value. I mean, there's so much on their website that you will never in a lifetime be able to take in all the content. There's so much profound classes and things on there. So, and it helps you too, especially with the daily Zohar videos, it helps you understand the Bible better when you're reading the Bible, particularly the Old Testament. The Old Testament, particularly the 5 books of Moses, are an encoded like manual for activating miracles and for spiritually navigating life and the context of what's happening in life. It gives you a completely different understanding of what you're reading in the Old Testament that can sometimes feel like, what is this story? Like, why did they include this? Like, what am I supposed to take away from this, you know? And then you can see how so many people misread it and misunderstand it and then have a completely literal interpretation and then use it in all the wrong ways. So, yeah, I don't know. There's so much out there that can be antagonizing right now. So who knows what this week holds, but we are going right into the Omer. For like 3 weeks, we don't have any planets in retrograde, so enjoy this sweet release. But we are in the Omer, so those are going to be our challenges. So pay attention, and when you feel anxious this week, just try to find stillness, find times of stillness, find times of quiet. Use your prayer practice as your best friend to help you out. And for specific prayers that you can use as tools, go look for my Psalms playlist, The Secrets of the Psalms. And then you can also follow me on Instagram where you'll see those videos there at Liz_Taylor_Magick. And that way you can see our Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or our anchor message, our alchemy message, and our weekend reflection message. You can see those midday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, before I get around to making the video, which is usually at the end of the night. So you might catch those either late at night, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or early Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. Whereas if you want to read the message and get a head start, those are there for you midday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So that's good. And then on TikTok, I am Liz_Taylor_Magick. And as always, subscribe if you're not already. Like this channel, comment in the comments if you want to throw in, if you don't know what to say, throw down some keywords that might help other people find these videos. Just help me get into the algorithm, help other people find them too. And if you want more support, the 2025 prediction series is really, really good. I've been using it myself through the year, and it is so valuable. It's only $10. It's like less than $1 a month, essentially. But it is packed with value. It is the yearly overview of like the basic outline of the year of what we're looking at, quarterly readings and monthly readings. And all of those videos have corresponding journal questions you can do that will help you kind of workshop these issues and these themes coming up throughout the year. I can't remember whether I've watched April yet. I feel like I might have recently, but I remember like anxiety and anger were going to be coming up throughout the year, on and off all year. So getting into that and looking into those videos, I know when I've watched my monthly videos, they've been really encouraging, and they've also been really sobering and put things in so much context of like, oh, this is why I feel this way. Oh, this is why. Oh, okay. I warned me about this kind of thing. So they're very helpful. They're very encouraging, and they give you a sense of like direction when everything just feels so up in the air right now. So that's the 2025 prediction series. You can access that through my Stan Store link down below. I did get Stripe hooked up, and PayPal's an option. I've noticed that I get a lot of leads to that page, but like not a lot of sales. So I don't know why people are like going there and then not making the purchase. Like, I don't know. Is it the $10? Like, what is, does anybody want to tell me what happens when they get there? They're like, yeah, I don't know. So it's there. One person before did tell me that they were having glitches with payment, but that was before I got Stripe set up. So everything should be good to go now. It's well worth it. We still have the whole rest of the year. And even going back, I've gone back and listened to earlier months retroactively, and even those were like valuable to listen to. There's always evergreen wisdom in my videos. I'm always giving you guys Kabbalah secrets. So it's not just about like predictive readings. We're actually doing homework on ourselves. So, all right. Thanks so much. We'll be back tomorrow for our weekly anchor message. And y'all don't forget, taxes are due Tuesday. So if you haven't already, like me, I need to do mine tomorrow or the next day. And upgrade your electronics while they're still normally priced before they get up there astronomically. All right, ciao. Oh yeah, and get your passport. Don't wait around on that. Guys, I don't know if y'all need them, but like women, you need your passport. All right, ciao.